Hello students, let's go to the next topic of our syllabus. And that is nothing but what? Angular momentum, or it is said to be moment of linear momentum. Up till now we have seen the angular motion and as well as linear motion we have finished in 11th standard. So whenever linear motion is there, there is linear momentum P and it is equal to product of mass into velocity, that already we have well known about. P equal to m into v. Here the motion is angular because it is rotational motion, it is an angular motion. So here the new concept comes together here, and that is said to be angular momentum, and this angular momentum is equal to moment of linear momentum. Angular momentum, this would be represented by capital L like this, and mathematically in vector form you can represent like this: R cross P. Cross product in vector form. L is the angular momentum, R is the perpendicular distance, and this P is nothing but a linear momentum. That's why this angular momentum is sometimes said to be moment of linear momentum, because here linear momentum and into its perpendicular distance it is nothing but a moment of linear momentum is said to be the angular momentum. And as here it is cross product, so you can write the same thing as in different way as we have learned in 11th standard scalars and vector chapter. So it is what? Cross product. CS, computer science. So it is R into P sine of theta. Theta is angle between R and P. Small angle between R and P. So you can write this in vector form, this in scalar form. RP sine theta. Or in this case, if the theta is 90 degrees, sine 90 is 1. So simply you can write this as R into P. So this is nothing but a angular momentum. Now here we have to derive the expression for this angular momentum. So say let's go. For that, let us consider this rigid body which consists of n number of particles. Already we have considered this type of body earlier also. Same body we have to consider. M1, M2, M3, so on up to Mn are the different masses of this body, and they are kept at distance of R1, R2, R3, so on up to Rn from this point O of axis of rotation. This is O, axis of rotation. N masses having a masses M1, M2, Mn kept at a distance of R1, R2, R3 and Rn from axis of rotation. Now here our aim is what? To find angular momentum, and for this let us consider as body is rotating with constant angular velocity omega, still every particle rotate with different linear velocities. So let us consider velocity of first particle having a mass m1 is v1, second particle is v2, third particle is v3, so on up to nth particle has a velocity vn. So let us suppose these are the velocities v1, v2, v3, vn are the velocities of n particles m1, m2 and m3, so on up to mn. Apart from this we are going to find out L, so we have to find out P, and for that we have find out here velocities v1, v2, vn. Let us consider the first particle has mass m1, velocity v1, it has linear momentum p1. Second has linear momentum p2. Third has linear momentum p3, so on up to mn has linear momentum pn. Now here you can write here the momentum of first particle, or simply according to your book if you go, they have mentioned for the velocity. So we know the formula v equal to r omega. So for first particle velocity is v1, the distance is r1, omega is constant. So we can write this velocity v1 equal to r1 omega, v2 equal to r2 omega, so on up to vn equal to Rn into omega. These are nothing but what? Velocities of v1, v2 and vn particle. Similarly, write down here the momentum we can write down here. So let us write down the momentum of first particle as p1 equal to what? m1 into v1 by the formula linear momentum p equal to m into v, and this for first particle p1 equal to m1 into v1. Put the value of v1 here, we get m1, just this is r1 omega, m1 r1 omega. Similarly p2 is what? m2 r2 omega, so on up to pn is what? mn rn omega. So this we are find out the linear momentum of first, second, third and so on up to nth particle. Now we reach to this step, we have find out p into r, that is nothing but L. So let's consider the first particle has angular momentum L1, second particle has angular momentum L2, third has angular momentum L3, so on up to nth particle has angular momentum Ln. Now find it out. So first of all, find out the angular momentum of first particle. It is L1 equal to R1 P1. But we know the value of P1 is this. Put it here. So you can write M1 R1 square omega. This R1 into this R1, it is R1 square omega. So M1 R1 square omega is L1. Similarly, L2 M2 R2 square into omega, so on up to Ln equal to Mn Rn square into omega. So these are nothing but what? Angular momentum of each particle. First particle M1, it is L1 equal to this, L2 equal to this, so on up to Ln equal to this. Our aim is to find out angular momentum of whole body, and whole body consists of the masses M1, M2, so on up to Mn. So let us write down the total angular momentum of whole body is what? Due to first particle, angular momentum of first particle plus second particle plus third particle plus so on up to angular momentum of nth particle. Put the values here. L1 is what? M1 R1 square omega plus M2 R2 square omega plus so on up to plus Mn Rn square into omega. So this is the equation. In all this, omega is constant, so you can take omega outside. You can write M1 R1 square plus M2 R2 square plus so on up to plus Mn Rn square, and outside the bracket it is omega. So this bracketed term is what? Do you guess? Yes, this bracketed term is said to be moment of inertia of a body, and that was represented by I. So we can write this as I into omega. Left side is as it is, L equal to I omega. So this is the equation which gives the relation between angular momentum in terms of moment of inertia and angular velocity. So this equation is exactly similar to kinetic energy we have derived. If you remember, kinetic energy of rotating body at the start of this chapter, same way we have just derived this equation L equal to I omega. That is nothing but a angular momentum of rotating body in terms of moment of inertia we have find out. If we compare this equation equal to linear momentum, P equal to mv, just see equalities. This L is angular momentum, P is linear momentum, okay? Omega is angular velocity, V is linear velocity. If this is mass in translational motion, this I would be mass in rotational motion, that is said to be moment of inertia. So this is the physical significance of this. So afterward, we have to derive another equation that is said to be expression for torque in terms of moment of inertia. Same way, we have derived the kinetic energy of the body. Then we have derived this equation as nothing but what? This equation for the torque acting on a rotating body, that we have derived L equal to I omega. Same way, we have to derive the equation for or expression for torque in terms of moment of inertia. So for that torque, let us consider the diagram remains same. Little bit modifications are there in the diagram. So that modification we will confirm. Just made the modification in the diagram and we will start with this topic. So let us draw the new diagram. Same type of diagram, it is little bit modifications are there. So let us draw the diagram. So suppose this is a rigid body. This is the axis, okay? Again, it consists of n number of particles. So write down the first one here, M1, here it is M2, so on up to here it is Mn. Particles kept at distance of R1, R2, Rn from a point where it is perpendicular axis touches the body, this at O, and distances from mass M1, M2, Mn is R1, R2, Rn. So let us consider the same rigid body here consists of n number of masses M1, M2 and M3 so on up to Mn, and they are kept at distance of R1, R2 so on up to Rn from the axis of rotation. Now here we have to consider here what? Expression for torque. So if you remember, what is the equation for torque? Tau equal to, just equation for torque, here we should consider angular acceleration. Initially we have considered velocity, here we have to consider acceleration, because we know torque equal to F R cross F in vector form. it is r cross f, or simply r into f if theta is equal to 90. So it is nothing but torque. So in short, we have to find out force here. Okay, to find out the force, we must know the acceleration. F equal to ma, Newton's second law. You must know the acceleration. So here, suppose this rigid body is rotating about this axis with an angular acceleration alpha. Now we have to determine these things. So let us consider, as this body is rotating with a constant angular velocity alpha, still every particle just revolves around the same axis with different radius. So their angular accelerations are different. Let us consider the first particle has an angular acceleration a1, second has angular acceleration a2, so on up to nth particle has angular acceleration an. Now there is a relation between angular acceleration and linear acceleration. That equation we know, that equation is nothing but what? A equal to r alpha. We know A equal to r alpha. Alpha is angular, A is a linear. So by this you can write this A1. What is A1 then? I will write here. A1 equal to R1 alpha, A2 equal to R2 alpha, so on up to AN equal to Rn alpha. So this equation for angular acceleration, so linear acceleration in terms of angular acceleration, we can write like this. And masses are already different. Now what is the force exerted? The force exerted by mass m1, that we have to find out. This force exerted is, suppose, F1, M2 exert a force, F2, Mn exert a force, Fn. Suppose first particle exert a force F1, second F2, third F3, so on up to nth particle exert a force Fn. So we know the formula, F equal to Ma, Newton's second law. So what is F1? M1 A1. Put the value of A1 here. Put the value of A1 here. So we can write M1 R1 alpha. F2 is what? M2 R2 alpha. F3 is what? M3 R3 alpha. So on up to Fn is what? Mn Rn alpha. So just we have find out the forces. We reach to this term. We have find out the forces. Now we want to find out torque. Let us consider torque acting on first body is tau1. Second body is tau2. Second body means first mass is tau1, second mass is tau2, so on up to nth mass is tau into n. Tau n. So let's find out torque acting on first particle tau1 equal to what? According to that, R1 F1. Just put the value of R1 here, R1 as it is, F1 here, R1 into M1 R1 alpha. So you can write here M1 R1 square alpha. Similarly, tau2 M2 R2 square alpha. So on up to tau n equal to Mn Rn square alpha. So we have find out all the torque, tau1, tau2, tau3, so on up to tau n. Now let's go further here. In this case, what we want to determine now? The total torque acting on rotating body. So it is sum of the torque due to mass m1, m2, so on up to mn. So total torque is, suppose, tau equal to tau1 plus tau2 plus so on up to tau n. Put the values of tau n, tau1 first, m1 r1 square alpha plus m2 r2 square alpha plus so on up to plus mn rn square alpha. All these are the values of torques. Alpha is common everywhere. Take it outside. So in the bracket you can write m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus so on up to plus mn rn square outside the bracket alpha. This bracket term is what? It is moment of inertia I. So you can put here the value of moment of inertia. So we get here equal to, this left hand side is torque equal to, this is nothing but I, this is alpha. So I into alpha. And this will give the relation between torque acting on rotating body in terms of moment of inertia and angular acceleration. Tau equal to I alpha. In this fashion, we have derived this equation. Now, this is nothing but a derivation of equation or equation for torque in terms of I. I means moment of inertia. If we compare this equation with another equation, F equal to ma. See, angular acceleration, linear acceleration. Torque is the force in rotational motion F is a force in translational motion. Translational motion, there is a mass. Rotational motion, there is a moment of inertia. Hence, we come to the same point again. So this is nothing but what? Equivalence. Equivalence or physical significance between these two terms. That is nothing but linear motion, translational motion and angular motion. Apart from this, the next topic of our syllabus is next, or we can say last topic of our syllabus is nothing but a conservation of angular momentum. So let's go to the next topic, conservation of angular momentum. How the angular momentum is conserved. If you remember, in 11th standard we have learned one principle of conservation of linear momentum. I have asked the same principle in examination also, if you remember, principle of conservation of linear momentum. Similarly, here there is another thing similar to linear momentum, conservation of angular momentum. Angular momentum. What is meant by conservation? Conservation means constant. Angular momentum would be constant, or we can say it is conserved. So similar to linear momentum conservation, this is the point where we have to learn conservation of angular momentum. Now if you remember, we know just initially when we have started this topic, I have written this equation, L equal to R cross P, where L is said to be angular momentum, R is a perpendicular distance from axis of rotation, P is a linear momentum. So this is nothing but a formula for angular momentum in terms of linear momentum. Now if you considered here derivative of this angular momentum, just derive the derivative, dl divided by dt, derivative of L with respect to time is equal to what? d dt of R cross P. So this R cross P is derivative we want to find out. Those students who have mathematics, might be all of you are well known about. There is one product rule in mathematics. That product rule we have to use. Those who don't have mathematics, don't worry, directly you just remember this point, because this is nothing but a next topic for this is nothing but the product rule from the mathematics that we are going to apply here. So what is the product rule? The first function into derivative of second, dp by dt, into derivative of second plus second function into derivative of first. Okay, see, first function derivative of second plus second function derivative of first. So this is nothing but a product rule in mathematics. Now dp by dt is what? According to Ohm's law, according to Newton's second law, F equal to ma, and that is F equal to dp by dt. So this is dp by dt is F. We can write here R cross F. Okay, plus P means what? mv. M is taken common. V cross dr by dt. Rate of change of displacement with time is velocity. V cross V. But we know the vector product of same quantity, same alphabet with the same, it is always 0. So this would be 0. 0 into anything is 0. So we get here R cross F. dl by dt equal to R cross F we get, and here R cross F is itself nothing but what? Torque acting on rotating body. Now imagine when this torque acting on rotating body is 0, if tau is 0, what is dl by dt? dl by dt is 0. Derivative of any function with respect to time is 0. This means what? This implies that L or this quantity must be constant. Remember, those who have mathematics, they know very well. Those who don't have mathematics, don't worry. Derivative of anything is 0 means that number, whatever be the function we are taking here, that must be constant. Derivative of constant is always 0. So here L is constant. L is constant means what? L is conserved. This is nothing but a conservation of angular momentum. In this case, when the external torque acting on a body, rotating body is 0, external torque acting on rotating body is 0, the angular momentum is conserved or remains constant. Conservation of linear momentum says that when external unbalanced force act on a body or system of particle is 0, the linear momentum is always conserved. Same thing, there is a force, here there is a torque. When torque acting on rotating body is 0, angular momentum is always conserved. Apart from this, in this case, they have just mentioned some application of this. Before going into application, in your book they have just we have derived one equation, L equal to I into omega. But omega can be written as 2 pi n. N is a frequency. So L equal to I into 2 pi n. We have put the value of omega. So we can write this equation here also. I is a moment of inertia, 2 pi is number, n is a frequency. Okay. So this thing is there. And after that, just remember, this application of principle of conservation of angular momentum was done in lot of things. In your book they have mentioned during some shows, ballet dancer use this concept, acrobat in circus, sport like ice skating, driving in swimming pool. These are the example of conservation of angular momentum. And this is very interesting phenomenon of conservation of angular momentum used in this type of things. Let's start with the ballet dancer. Might be all of you have seen the ballet dancer either dance on the floor, or some of them expert ballet dancer dance on the ice also. They are doing ice skating and dancing. At the same time, some places where there is a curve, they will move their hands away. They will move their hands away and just take a safe curve. When their hands are away means what? If we assume the axis of rotation passing from the head, just center of our body, axis of rotation, we are just leaving away our hands. What is meant by? We are moving the mass away from the axis of rotation. Radius of gyration k increases. Means what? Moment of inertia get increase. And if the moment of inertia get increase, as L is constant, if this moment of inertia get increase, this 2 pi is constant always. So this frequency decreases. Frequency decreases means what? The velocity of that ballet dancer get decrease. And that's why when the hands get just floaten from our away, move away from our body, moment of inertia of our body increases, and that result into decrease in your velocity or speed. And that concept was used by this ballet dancer while dancing. And sometime when they want to increase their speed, they will move their hands toward their body. If the hands are moved close to axis of rotation, the mass is distributed close to the axis, and due to that, moment of inertia decreases and the frequency means the velocity get increased. And that concept was used by ballet dancer. Same thing, there is another example they have taken, driving in swimming pool or during competition of swimming. What the peoples are doing, they go to certain height and this man is standing here and just jump it here and just fall down in the water. When he jump and fall down in the water, initially he just stretch his hand. Stretching of hand means what? Moment of inertia increases, okay, because radius of gyration get increased. When they jump from here at this place, some of the expert, they will take 2 turns about their own bodies, 2-3 turns. While taking 3 turns, what they are doing, they are just closing the hands close to their body and they just accumulate their body so that they roll their body. So their moment of inertia decreases, speed get increased. So they will make 1 rotation, 2 rotation, 3 rotation. After 3 rotation, again they will stretch their hands and they smoothly land in the water. That is nothing but the stretching and moving away of the hand just change the what? Moment of inertia and their velocity, and accordingly they can win the competition by taking more windings and like that. So this is nothing but a second example of this conservation of angular momentum. Below that there is one solve example. Try to solve that example. The next one is rolling motion. Rolling motion is a topic that was deleted this year only, this reduced syllabus. After that there are some equations. Just go to page number 20 of your book. There is one table 1. This table 1 gives the equation for translational motion, same analogous same equation in rotational motion. How they get changed? In first row, here uv and uv's are there in translational, because linear velocity, here it is angular velocity. Linear acceleration, angular acceleration, that is change only. You just remember that table also. Apart from this, the next table, next page number 21, table 2 is there. Again they have just tried to correlate translational and rotational motion in terms of differences. So the first 2 columns for translational motion, next 3 columns for rotational motion. Different quantities they have mentioned, their symbols, formulas they have mentioned, same thing they have done for rotational motion. So you just remember this topic also. Remember, in this rotational motion table 2, angular displacement theta equal to theta, angular displacement, s vector form s equal to theta cross r. Below that v equal to omega cross r. Such type of equation asked in MCQs. In most of the time they have asked vector v equal to omega cross r. This type of MCQs lot of ask. So you just remember this table also. After that, there is one table 3. In this table 3, what they have done, they have taken different objects just like a ring, hollow ring, solid ring, cylinder, sphere, like this, and their axis passing from center, one side, and diameter, that type of things they have taken. Then the expression for moment of inertia. No need to derive the formula directly. If the thin ring is there, and if the axis passing from the center, what is the formula of moment of inertia? I equal to mr square. Thin ring passing from diameter, moment of inertia is 1 by 2 mr square. In this fashion, this whole table is there. It contains circular cone, hollow, solid circular cone. For all these things, they have given the value of moment of inertia. This type, any formula from this can be asked as a MCQ, or any 2-mark numerical can be asked on any of this. Might be cone will be given, might be solid sphere, hollow sphere, or cylinder would be given, and you have to find the moment of inertia. You have to use this formula. So it is very essential to learn each and every formula from this table to find the moment of inertia. Is that clear? In this fashion, we have completed the chapter. Next period we will start the new chapter. So just read this book first, watch the video, then read the same topic from your book. Remember, I am telling you again and again, don't jump directly to last video. Go one by one. Just first attend the video 1, then 2, 3, 4, like this. Go sequentially. If you jump directly to 5th and 6th, you can't get the basic of the first and second video. That's why it is better to go one by one. Don't do the jumping. Okay, so take care, and let's see you in next video. Thank you.